If you naturally have low energy levels, if you can see some signs of high sensitivity in yourself, and if lately you started noticing that you feel more tired, although everything else seems just fine health-wise and routine-wise, maybe it's time that you reconsider some of the habits I'm going to talk about today. I'm not a specialist, I'm just a highly sensitive person who gets so easily overwhelmed by anything in the world, including my own self. A very important disclaimer here, I'm not talking about any physical or mental health conditions or deficiencies that can lead to feeling tired. For those, you should consult a medical specialist. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Anna, and this channel is about the gentle philosophy of finding and nourishing your true self through meaningful ideas, relationships, and things. And if you're back, I'm so glad to have your company again. So, the first habit worth reconsidering being an HSP is the following. Too much emotionally dense content. And here I'm not talking about some shallow and stupefying types of shorts or TikToks or doom scrolling. No, oftentimes it's quite deep and meaningful type of content that can squeeze you dry, drop by drop, before you even begin to notice that. If you have a habit of spending hours of your free time watching or reading emotionally charged things that either keep you on edge or you feel like you know all those people, you feel emotionally connected to them, you feel all the pain that they feel, you live through their life, then all those hours combined can lead to more overstimulation and more exhaustion than long in-person communication. Highly sensitive people usually feel more and can notice the tiniest hidden meanings and undercurrents in stories that are told through movies and books. If you're like me, probably you are a fan of deeply psychological movies that otherwise can feel very slow and uneventful, but you know that the main action is taking place inside the characters, not outside. Now more than ever in human history, we are bombarded with a huge number of emotional triggers daily, and while for people with more balanced sensitivity levels, this can result in sort of adaptation and even growing numbness, for people with higher sensitivity, this can result in feeling more and more worn out trying to digest all that emotional information. This tiredness is very unique to our time, and the consequences of it haven't been studied enough yet. And I'm saying this not to preach, but to share what I've noticed in myself. And I'm someone who is very much drawn to deeply psychological type of content. I love to learn more. I'm very curious. I want to explore things and emotions and people's lives outside my own mind and heart, and this definitely has had a certain impact on me and on my coping mechanisms too. So now, in order to maintain more or less stable energy levels, I try to set certain limitations. I don't binge watch content, and I include more kind of neutral and educational type of videos and books and films, especially the ones related to my recent passion, which is drawing and watercolor, and this definitely helps stay more grounded and connected to myself, and also, I don't know, just feeling inspired and fulfilled instead of being constantly on edge. And whenever I need some extra support and guidance, I go to Aura, who is the kind sponsor of this part of the video and a good friend of the channel. Aura is an all-in-one app for well-being and sleep. It has thousands of meditations, stories, and so much more like CBT, life coaching, breathwork, and spirituality. I've been using Aura for more than 2 years by now, and it helps me stay true to my high sensitive self while being as grounded as I can be. Aura's content is extremely varied and personalized, and it's created by hundreds of expert coaches and professional therapists around the world from very diverse backgrounds. Setting up your account is very easy. From the very beginning, Aura starts learning your needs and content preferences so that you can enjoy a tailored selection right from the start. I have created a whole playlist of selected tracks for calm and rest with a focus on high sensitivity. There are meditations, life coaching, breathwork sessions, one very soothing soundscape that you can play and repeat for hours, and my favorite sleep meditations, including Yoga Nidra. This has become part of my everyday routine, and now I invite you to join me for a 30-day mindfulness journey. My playlist includes 30 tracks, so you can have a whole month of very calming and restful practices with Aura, handpicked by me. Right now, you can get started for completely free on Aura's website using my special link in the description. Only the first 500 people will get free trial and exclusive 25% off. Beginning of the year is the time when we are all urged to plan. Goals, resolutions, schemes, desirable paths, even bullet journal setups. YouTube, in particular, is flooded with this type of advice. But does this always helps and motivates everyone? No. Following a strict pre-made schedule is useful, but only to a certain extent. By planning too far ahead, you can run out of energy to solve smaller everyday tasks. The farther is the distance, the less flexible and agile you become, and more tired you can grow. If you plan several months in detail, you get more focused on your future than on your present, and it becomes more difficult to live in the moment, and you subconsciously want to skip all the steps to get to your goal as fast as possible. This is not only about work or financial planning, it concerns everything, starting from your exercise plan to reading or gardening, I don't know. Also, the excessive focus on your actions and the necessity to analyze and plan each step of yours can seriously destabilize you emotionally, especially if you're a highly sensitive person, and here is why. There are people who gain energy from planning and organizing, and there are those who get drained by all that. Because for those people, and I'm one of them, to plan means to imagine vividly the future and thus living through it fully. And all this leads to having not enough energy to lead your everyday life because you're excessively focusing on the future and you are already there and not here. So if you're an HSP, maybe reconsider your planning and organizing your routine. Maybe give yourself more free space for maneuvering, or better say, roaming free. This doesn't mean that organizing and planning suck entirely. It just can be not your thing. All people are different. And if somehow you feel like you are a prisoner in your own life, maybe it's time to figure out your own way of planning and organizing. Do you ever track your sleep, your exercise, your steps, your water intake, or maybe breathing and heartbeat patterns, even though you don't have any medical necessity for that? And does that habit make you feel overwhelmed. I used to have a fitness tracker, but I stopped wearing it maybe after 6 months because I noticed that it made me feel more tired than I actually was. I was constantly feeling like I was not doing enough and I was not good enough. Of course, this is also rooted in our modern hustle culture thing, but here we are talking about a high sensitivity only. I believe that tracking kills the joy of the moment and it turns life into a series of potential achievements without any space for actual relaxation. Because then you are very much tempted to track the quality of your relaxation. Again, trackers can be a good thing for certain people, but after reading and talking to other sensitive people, I can see that for us, tracking systems can be more draining and they can make us feel more tired than we actually are. Uncustomized order and chaos. This can sound a bit confusing and I will try to explain what I mean. Again, this is all about finding your own interpretation of rules and tips instead of blindly following them. Some people say that only the perfect order and decluttered spaces can make you feel calm and grounded and focused and productive, whatever this word means to you. Others say that controlled chaos and visual stimulation can boost your creative thinking and give you more energy for making and doing things. And every time I tried to follow any precise instructions how to organize my work and living spaces, I felt more drained and unmotivated than ever. Here's what my desk looks like now. It's the unfolded kitchen table and there is order and chaos here at once. My desktop is not the most organized either and it doesn't bother me. What is important to me when I work online is to keep not more than 10 tabs open. Because if there are more than 10 tabs in my browser, my brain automatically perceives this as a huge amount of mental work that needs to be done, but in reality, it's not that. That's why I also try to keep my to-do lists very small and I tend to generalize, which means that I don't break one task into small tasks. I just have one big task. And if I make my list longer, I immediately feel tired and overwhelmed because it signals my brain that I have a massive amount of work to be done and I get tired even before I start my workday. You have to choose your own customized ratios of order and chaos. Those are inseparable, and if you try to fight chaos, it will definitely find an outlet and grow even stronger. Highly sensitive people can get exhausted, very much tired, either because of too much chaos or also too much order. Again, for people with a more balanced emotional response, this can be not that big of a deal, but high sensitivity requires a more careful approach to organizing your life. I've said it before and I will repeat it once again in this video. High emotional and physical sensitivity is not a diagnosis, it's just a peculiarity of nervous system. It's neither good nor bad. It's a peculiarity that is not that uncommon. According to the recent research, almost 30% of global population, which is every third person on Earth, are highly sensitive. Anyway, I have a whole playlist about high sensitivity on my channel and you can check it out if you are interested and if you haven't watched other videos of mine about this topic. Feel free to share in the comments your thoughts about anything that I've mentioned here today, whether you are an HSP or not, and maybe you have some personal tips and tricks how to feel more energized and less tired in our today's society. Let's connect. Thank you so much for your time and attention, dear friends, and as always, huge thanks to everyone who supports my work on Patreon and other tipping platforms, because it's only thanks to you that this channel exists. And for now, as always, be safe and keep your heart open, and I will see you soon. Пока-пока.